Hi guys, today I am going to show you how to change the magazine release on a Kahr PM9. Now the same procedure would hold true on a Kahr P9 as well as a Kahr K9 and a Kahr MK9. It doesn't really matter whether it's polymer or stainless steel. They're all the same magazine release and clip functions. The reason why I'm doing this is because I recently purchased an older Kahr PM9, and after firing it at the gun range, the magazine actually came out. It popped out on me after 3 or 4 rounds, and I was highly disappointed. I sent an email to Kahr, and one of the customer service reps there, who was very nice, asked for my address and told me that he would send me a new magazine release catch, which is what this is. This is a magazine release button and catch. I don't know if I'm focusing, but that's what this is. They sent it to me at no cost, and I'm going to talk you through the procedure on how to replace the older catch and put in the newer catch. So the very first thing you need to do, of course, is go through a safety check, make sure that your magazine is out of your gun, make sure that you're pointing it in a safe direction, rack the gun, make sure there's nothing in it, which there is not, nothing in the chamber, which there is not. Close it, point it in the proper direction, and pull the trigger. Now we'll move on to taking the gun apart, and of course I'm sure many of you know, most of you know, that these indexing lines on your slide and the one on your frame are need to be lined up. Index the gun such as that, and then take your finger and push this pin out right here, this pin. Push this pin out, which actually slides this whole magazine catch, I'm sorry, the upper slide catch out. So let's go ahead and do that. Push the slide backwards until the indexing marks match up with each other, and then from the other side take your finger and push in on this at the same time that you're lining up the index marks, and you'll notice that this catch, your slide catch, starts sliding out. Just grab onto that with your fingers, pull that out, comes right out, and your slide will come undone. Sometimes you have to actually pull the trigger again to make sure that your slide slides smoothly off of the frame. And now you have the gun disassembled enough to get to the magazine catch spring, which is actually down in your magazine well, and you'll see that there's a small spring down in there that's actually vertical, running the length of the magazine, which connects to the magazine release button. When I press the button, you'll see that spring sliding back and forth, top and bottom. That's the spring that we need to get to take off from this plastic part, and as soon as we disconnect that spring from this plastic button should fall right out. So let's move on to that next step. Okay, and I'm back, and what I did was I took a small dental pick, which I did get from my dentist. It's a very small dental pick. You can actually use a small flathead screwdriver, and it's very easy to take this pick, put it down the magazine well, and grab onto this small spring. You'll see this small spring right here is actually coming in contact with a magazine catch, magazine release. So you take this small spring, you push it over to the right side of your gun, push it over this way to the right side of your gun, and you pull it backwards slightly. It takes very little pressure, just to the right and backwards, which is what I just did just now, to the right and backwards. Very little pressure, and once you do that, it becomes loose. The magazine catch becomes loose. Okay, so we have the magazine release button partially out, and we're pulling it out the right-hand side of the frame. Here's the frame. We're pulling the magazine button out the right side of the frame, and as we're doing that, you'll notice that this spring that we just released the tension on, this spring is wanting to grab a small ramp on the button. It's grabbing this little teeny hook right here on the button as we're pulling the button out. So again, you want to release a little tension. Just stick a flathead screwdriver or something else such as a dental pick underneath this area and lift it up. As you lift it up, it will release the button, and the button will come right out. And now all we have to do is put that magazine catch back in reverse. Okay, so here we are with this button partially pushed in. I actually got the magazine catch partially pushed in by pulling out the spring. Just grabbed onto the spring, pulled it away from the frame enough so that it fell back into that little indentation in the button, and then the button will push right in. Once it's properly aligned, it'll push right back in to the gun, and you will notice that this spring is sitting on top of your magazine catch. You'll notice that this spring right here is sitting on top of, you see how it's jutting out, sitting on top of the magazine catch. What you're going to have to do is push it off to the right just slightly, and as you push it off to the right, it will fall in to this cavity, lock right in. This spring actually drops into this little area that you see right here. It actually locks right into this little area. So you need to make sure that that spring comes over to the right and in and drops into this locked area right here. Now all you have to do is reassemble the gun. Just take the frame, the slide, line up the slide on the rails, bring it back onto the rails, line up the indexing marks, these two indexing marks, one on the frame, one on the slide. Take your slide catch, put the slide catch back in, line up the indexing marks, and you're all set.